is a weird country. It is it is a Nordic country that isn't related to the Nordic countries. But Finland has always been a neutral country until very recently. We, yeah. Basically, Finland has joined NATO. That's essentially it. Finland has joined NATO, and Finland is building also a border fence to protect itself from Russia. So, but yeah, Finland has officially joined NATO. No, which means, but on the mean side of that, what about Russia's alliance? BRICS. So if you never heard of BRICS before, it is basically this economic alliance, and and three countries have applied to join BRICS: Algeria, Argentina, and Iran. All three of these countries will probably join BRICS. So BRICS, just like NATO, is also expanding. BRICS is basically mostly poor countries that are working together, basically. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And countries that have applied to join are Algeria, Argentina, and Iran as well. And Egypt also might join as well, making this even bigger as well. Well, well, it is basically, and could BRICS go into a more of a military alliance? As currently that's an economic thing, and more countries are joining this thing. So we're starting to see a rivalry between the East and the West again, with Russia, India, and China, and South Africa and Brazil all in one alliance, essentially. And this alliance is literally forming before our very eyes, as well. If you see, these dollars they did as it started, but the yuan takeover is impossible. It is very possible that the yuan will take over as the reserve currency in all BRICS nations, as China is basically the leader of the BRICS nations as well. Because of how influential China is becoming, BRICS will become a very important thing in the future. So, could BRICS? There's also a very high possibility that BRICS breaks apart because India and China, both have different geopolitical goals in the future and are still not really friendly countries. It's really just an economic thing. So there's a very large possibility that India leaves BRICS and forms its own thing as well as a rival to China. But the Chinese-Russian alliance as well is a big thing. China and Russia are allied countries now. They are as well. And this is a very bad thing for the Western world because this is essentially something because China is the second most populated country in the world besides India. I think India has passed China in population because China's population declined. So yeah, I think India has more people, but China is more economically powerful than India. Okay, China has economic leverage currently over India as well. But we have another thing here. Canada and Mexico might, join BRICS. Okay, Mexico might join BRICS, and this will change the global economy as well. And also, this is gonna change what's gonna happen. This is gonna change the global economy. And if a country like Mexico joins as well, as well, because Mexico is a very big economy. They're also planning to get Saudi Arabia and Iran, which is probably why China strategically made China and Iran, Saudi Arabia have diplomatic relations instead of being enemies anymore as well. So this is just the declining influence of America around the world. America is not the world's sole superpower anymore. We're starting to see something else emerge as well as another global bloc as well. And BRICS could be the next big global bloc that we are seeing as well. So we might be seeing entering yet another Cold War between China and Russia and their allied nations as well. Because I wouldn't be too surprised if Syria joins, Syria, you know, looking at the map here, we have Iran joins, Syria joins, Argentina joins, Algeria, of course, joins, you know, Afghanistan joins, all these countries, you know, and Europe and America are only one part of the world, okay? Europe and America and Canada, the Western world, it's only around like 1.1 million people, okay? And if you include Western aligned countries like Japan, Korea, okay, that's around 1.2 to 1.3 million as well, which means, that doesn't even beat India's population. That doesn't even beat China's population either. So China has more people than, and India and China have more people than all these Western countries as well. And we're not, oh yeah, let's not include Russia. Okay, let's not include Russia. I accidentally include Russia as part of, the Western world. But yeah, let's just say all of Europe except Russia and Belarus, which is minusing 140 million powers. So that's around 1.1 billion people in the Western world, when we exclude Russia and Belarus as well. And there's also a big possibility that Italy, countries even within the Western sphere, leave NATO and stuff, like Italy, Poland, and Hungary. Especially Italy and Hungary. Not really Poland, because Poland is like a historic ally of Ukraine, but Hungary will probably eventually drag Poland with them. But basically, Italy and Hungary, okay, could become the new thrones in the EU and Western world as well. Which Hungary has always been a, throne, and has always been a, thorn, and I keep saying throne, but thorn in the Western world. Okay, Hungary has always been that way, and Italy has basically joined them as well. You know, as well. Italy in 10 years could probably even join BRICS, and there's even a possibility that Canada joins BRICS, but that's very unlikely because Canada is a Western allied nation. But I think at this point, Italy is more likely to join than Canada as well. But Canada could even join it as well. Canada could join it, and that would ruin the end of American influence around the world, because Canada is basically America's best friend, okay, as well. And we're seeing the end of the American world. And there's a very big possibility America could become a isolationist country again. And basically the new power players are centered in Asia, China, and India as well. Goodbye.